All right, I was going to say howdy, everybody. Howdy. I don't know why I would say howdy. We're in North Dakota. Or we're about to be. We're over North Dakota right now. We're at 27,600 feet. We're descending to 19,000 feet. Flight level 190. Headed to Grand Forks, North Dakota. ATC seems to be working. We're doing our... we've been ordered to descend. And we're going to be landing, as expected, on runway 35 left. ILS frequency at runway 35 left is 109.1, so we'll go ahead and enter that. 1091. VOR frequency at Grand Forks is 114.3. Enter that as well. Switch bearing 2 over to nav 2. We'll keep bearing 1 at GPS for now. We are getting VOR information from Grand Forks, 79.1 nautical miles away. So straight in approach, you might think, because we're landing to the north and flying from the south. But interesting approach, very interesting approach to this airport. As you can see, and this is not an error, I checked the approach plates. I'm going to fly to this point, GF, it's an NDB, a non-directional beacon, and then make a right turn, and then turn north. So it's kind of interesting. Something a little different. Expect some ice maybe here as we enter into these clouds. Let's keep a sharp eye out. It's minus 40 out. Up here at 23,000 feet. I'm watching those windows. Nothing yet. Tipping into those clouds. Weather very different here in Grand Forks compared to Santa Fe. 18 degrees and cloudy. Winds are out of the north at 14 miles an hour. That's... Hold on. Down to 7,000. Okay, 2,600 feet then.
Descend and maintain 2,600 feet. Expect ILS runway 35 left approach.
I was just about to go into details about our approach path today. Let's keep slowing. A little bit high. 2,600 feet. Okay, hold on. 1 second. Not a lot in the way of information on the approach plates for this airport. But if you take a look, you'll see on the approach, if I can find the damn thing. Where is it? Heiser, via Heiser transition. Where's Heiser? That's interesting. I'm looking for it. I know it's there. Well, we'll encounter it soon enough. Anyway, the approach plate, I'm just looking for it. Where the hell is it? The approach plate says that there's the ice, by the way. Okay, I knew that was coming. Okay. Anyway, the approach plate has you at 2,600 feet at Heiser, so that's why we've been cleared to descend to that. 60 miles out. Customarily, you'd expect to be at 18,000 feet at 60 miles out. And we are. So that's good. Betty says nearest altimeter is 2984, so let's go ahead and see if she's right. 2998. Interesting. Well, 2984 is the listed altimeter according to Betty at KBAC, Kilo Bravo Alpha Charlie, which is an airport near the area. 17,000 feet right now, 60 miles out. Airport elevation at Grand Forks is 845 feet. Approach course for this runway 35 left is 354. Runway length is 7,351 feet. Go ahead and enter our minimums, 1,045 feet for an airplane like this. 1045. 045. There we go. Okay. Got our minimums entered. Right there, 1045 feet. 56 miles out. 50 miles out, you'd expect to be at 15,000 feet. But again, with an airport at elevation of 845, you got to weave that into your calculations. Descending at 1,200 feet per minute. There. Full IMC right now. Not much in the way of anything to look at for the passenger. But at least the winds are correct. I mean, live weather is showing winds from the north, sim weather is showing winds from the north. That does not mean that we will actually encounter winds from the north on our final approach, as I've learned through bitter experience. But we'll see. We'll see. 50 miles now, 14,700 feet. Airspeed's good at 275. We'll start reducing that a little more as we get closer to 10,000 feet. Showing us on the ground about 15 minutes. Maybe 17 minutes. At least we still have daylight. I was kind of hoping for a tailwind on this flight. You know, I figured I'm headed east. Oftentimes that bodes well for a tailwind, but we didn't get bupkis. We just had a wind. Winds aloft were coming perpendicular to us from the left, so didn't really do much to aid us in our flight. Started our timer takeoff roll, as you saw in the part 1 video, 1 hour and 45 minutes ago. So probably going to end up being about a 2-hour flight, thereabouts. Maybe 2 hours and 4 minutes. Just doing the math real quick here in my head, based on everything I'm seeing. So we're coming below the first deck, so to speak. We're in clear skies now, sort of, but there's more clouds below us. But it looks pretty faithful to the real weather. Grand Forks right now is, I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but 18 degrees. I think I did mention it. 18 degrees, yes. Yeah, I have quite the muse suggesting my various destinations. 40 miles out, 12,300 feet. Customarily expect to be at 12,000 at 40, so that's good. That's good. Looks like we're below most of the weather. If you look around, you can see there's scattered clouds lower, but we're below the thick deck. And actually, I see some sunlight out there in the distance. Regardless. Go ahead and switch our nav 1, or rather bearing 1, over to nav 1. See if we've got any. No data. No data. I wouldn't expect to receive ILS data when you're still 35 miles out. 11,300 feet. Let's continue slowing. It's at 265. Remember the universal speed limit here in the States, 250 knots indicated. Below 10,000. We're at 11,000 feet right now, 10,900 feet and 267 knots. So do want to continue slowing. I'm suspecting that that's our airport. Right there. You see that white blinking light. It's called the rabbit. I can actually see the white REILs, the runway end intensity lights, and I can actually just barely, this will never show up on the video, but I can just barely make out white poppies. All white poppies, which you'd expect because we're obviously too high. 30 miles now, 10,000 feet. Again, normally expect to be at 9,000 feet at 30 miles, but we are dealing with an airport that's 845 feet above sea level, so we're just perfect where we want to be. Except we are going a little too fast, so let's, we don't want to get a speeding ticket, right? Okay. Bring our speed down below 250, which it is now. It's one thing about where I've been taking this longitude is it's always a new airport. I mean, I get these suggestions about where to fly or ideas about where to fly, and they're always to places I've never been. So you can see here's the airport again. I think that's it. Might be that one, but I think that's it. And we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go turn this way, turn right, keep turning right, and then head in, if that makes sense. And that's depicted visually, graphically here. So let's continue slowing. Let's shallow out our descent rate. Turn off our bank limiter because we got some pretty sharp turns ahead of us. 24 miles out. I would note that the ForeFlight app says we're 24 miles out, but the ForeFlight app does not... Hold on one second. The ForeFlight app does not depict the same route that I'm seeing here, if that makes sense. The ForeFlight app just has us going from here to this GF, NDB, and due north. Whereas the Sim's flight plan, and I got to give credit to the Sim, this is consistent with the published approach plate, has us making kind of a U-turn once we get to GF. So that tells me that we may not need to be as... We have a little more wiggle room on our approach altitude than you might otherwise think. You don't want to descend at a rate that's based on incorrect or erroneous impressions. So, nevertheless, I have noticed this before where there's a little bit of a conflict between the ForeFlight app and its impressions about your approach, particularly your approach, and the Sim. I'm sorry, I was distracted. I was looking out the window here. Well, what do you know? It might actually be this airport. It is, because that airport, the first one is KRDR and then KGFK. That's KRDR over here on the left. You can actually see right here's KRDR right there. That's KGFK right there. So, good to know. We do have glide slope information coming in now. That's good to hear. Showing us too high, which again, I would expect given the fact that the ForeFlight app doesn't think that this is the case, but the Sim does. So anyway, we're expediting out our descent. Continue slowing. Should be very interesting. I'm interested to see how this happens, how this plays out. Weather's good enough that we can handle whatever they throw at us. KRDR is Grand Forks Air Force Base, so you certainly would not want to make the mistake of landing there on accident. It goes without saying. Increase our descent rate here a little. Got some wiggle room.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
This is speed brakes.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Okay, so we're going to make a right turn. I know that seems weird because the airport's right here, so why are we turning away from it? Well, that's the published approach plate right here. You'd think, why not just go from here, turn left, and land? I'm just telling you, the government FAA approved approach plate has you going this way. Might have something to do with KRDR. I don't know. I'm looking at the for-flight map, and it does show flight restrictions in and around the area of the Air Force Base, so that might be part of it. Got a right turn coming. Continue slowing.
Bravo Whiskey, contact Minneapolis Center on 124.2.
All right, let's see how this works.
Bravo Whiskey.
This is definitely my first sort of
Minneapolis Center Cessna November Tree
unusual
Whiskey is at 5,400 feet, descending 2,600 feet.
approach. And it's just unorthodox. Those landing lights on. We can go depressurize now. 2987 on the altimeter. Sounds like Betty got it right. Okay, so now, I know this seems weird. You know what I mean? You see what we're doing here? Making a right turn and then land. So, very interesting. Shallow out that descent right now. The approach is 5.5 miles, according to the approach plate. Which would generally mean that you'd want to be at or around 1,600 feet maybe, above ground level. So I would expect us to want to be probably at about 2,500 feet for this approach. But again, I don't have to guess. I don't have to guess. Just use this G. Use this glide slope information. That'll do the work for you. You just trust it.
Tree Bravo Whiskey, contact Minneapolis approach on 132.15. Going to 132.15 Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
We'll make a right turn here.
Minneapolis approach Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey is at 3,900
Momentarily.
feet,
Zoom in
descending
here.
2,600 feet. Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey Minneapolis approach continue as planned. Altimeter 29.
Okay, we're starting that right turn. Here it comes. I see that our glide slope looks good now, so I'm actually going to initiate on my own initiative the right turn, because I don't know why we're not turning right. God damn it. Our glide slope's fine, so we're gonna do this ourselves. I don't know what interesting. At least ATC's working. Remember, the approach course is 354. Basically due north. So we're turning due west. 6 degrees off of it, of due west. 264. The sun. Ooh, the sun just disappeared. That was kind of funny. Continue slowing. Do a notch of flaps. Continue that right turn. Let's zoom out a little bit more on this MFD because I'd like to have a better view. There we go. You see what we're doing? Make a right turn. I like to intercept that localizer at about a 30-degree angle. So 354, 30 degrees off of 354 is 324. Good. Okay. Nice. Okay, this looks good. This looks very good. You see what I did? Headed this way. C130, CI35 left, or C135. I can't tell if that's a 1 or an I. Anyway, we'll make that right turn, but not ourselves. We're going to use the autopilot. We're going to switch this over to nav1. We're going to switch this over to APPR. And this is perfect.
Tree Bravo Whiskey, you are
And the altimeter, I'm sorry, the glide slope also perfect. This looks really good right now. Certainly unorthodox, weird kind of approach to this airport, but I mean, gotta do what you gotta do. Contact the tower.
Cessna November Tree, 43 Bravo Whiskey, Grand Forks Tower. Cleared ILS runway tree 5 left approach. Altimeter 29.87, wind tree 47 at 20.
347 at 20. Okay, so the winds are out of the north, so that's good.
Cleared ILS runway
At
20,
20,
left approach,
Jesus.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
Come on, grab the glide slope. Start slowing here in a second. Once I grab the glide slope, nothing's happening. Let's try again. Switch to nav, APPR. There we go. I don't know if you caught that. Grabbed it, and there's the airport. Gear. Look at that beauty. Oh! That's so sweet. A little ice on the wings. Good. Okay. So there's the runway. I see white and red on our poppy, so that's good. Runway 35 left. We'll be exiting right. Continue slowing. Got our landing lights on. Glide slope is perfect. Still have it. GS is still green, and the green diamond's dead center between 2 dots on the top, 2 dots on the left. Radio altimeter showing 1985 above ground level. Looks like we got a little snow on the ground. I'm so happy that's finally showed up. It's minus 17 out, and we're almost on the ground. Yikes. Continue slowing. Outer marker.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey, cleared to land runway tree 5 left.
Full flaps.
Wind tree 47 at 20.
347 at 20. Winds are steady.
Cleared to land runway tree 5 left, Cessna Tree.
That's almost certainly gusting. It's not sustained winds of 20 because the live weather's showing winds out of the north at I'll pull it up 1 second. Winds out of the north at 13 miles an hour, not 20. Regardless, something to be aware of. Ah, the Midwest. What's not to like? Okay. A little bit low, but we've still got white and red on our poppies, so we're not... there's no problems. Disconnect the auto throttle and calibrate. Good. Zoom in here on the MFD. Well, it's all by the book right now. One 49.
500.
500.
Autopilot. I have the airplane.
Autopilot.
Not the longest runway in the world, but long enough, I suspect. 12 knot wind heading right at us. Middle marker. Three 5 left confirmed. Over the piano keys. Kind of planted it, I guess. Exit right here.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey exit runway when able.
Yeah, I mean, you might have spilled your coffee on that one, I gotta be honest.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey contact ground on 124.575.
But not, you know, it's not like you chipped any teeth or anything. It was just a little bit rough. All right, let's look outside real quick. Bring in those spoilers. Oh, let me get off the runway. I'm sorry. Stop on those hold bars. There we go. That's kind of cool how you can see the instrument panel. I love it. Okay, anyway, let's bring in those spoilers. Welcome to Grand Forks, North Dakota, where it's 4:30 in the afternoon. Bring in those flaps. You can see they want us to go this way. The AI got a little confused about where we exited, but we're fine. Everything's good. Contact ground. Let's see if this clears it.
Grand Forks Ground Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey request taxi to parking.
Okay, good.
Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Bravo Whiskey taxi to general aviation parking.
Let's see if it resets our arrows. CDK. Charlie Delta Kilo. No, it did not reset.
Taxiing to general aviation
Well,
parking.
luckily,
Taxiway Charlie Delta Kilo
you can
Cessna
see it
Tree
right
Bravo
here.
Whiskey.
Pretty close to parking. Make a note. Ramp 1. Nice. Well, listen, I'm no expert. I've never been in North Dakota, but it looks cold. It's -7 out. It just looks cold. I mean, look, there's still ice on the plane. See the ice on the wing? Well, 3 Bravo Whiskey does it again. This plane's been all over the place. There's actually a chronometer on it. I don't know if I mentioned that. It tells you how... It says I've got 93.7 hours in this plane. That's kind of neat. Like it actually counts the hours you've spent, the flight hours you've logged on the instrument display. That's pretty nifty, I think. Anyway, oh, let's stop our timer. Should have done that. 2:06:37, probably more like 2:05. But I was under the impression it'd be about 2 hours. Some of these places I fly to, you know, I've never been there, so I'm kind of curious sometimes how accurate they are. I don't know if that makes sense. Some of these places in the sim are so, you know, kind of famous, so everybody kind of knows what they look like, whether you've been there or not. Well, Grand Forks is a city of 15,000 people, so I think I'm headed probably to the Holiday Inn tonight, not the Four Seasons. So you're not as likely to have a general familiarity with Grand Forks, North Dakota, as you are, say, you know, LA or San Francisco. Which is not me besmirching it in any way. It's just, I'd be probably a lot of fun to visit North Dakota. Probably not in January. But anyway, I do kind of have an abiding curiosity. Is this what it looks like? There's our guy. This time I'm going to stay on this yellow line right here. Let's try Turn off that taxi light. Expect to get that X. Where is it? Thank you, sir. Okay. Good. So, parking brake. Right engine. Lights. Welcome to Grand Forks, North Dakota. Just the kind of place you want to go in the middle of January. I don't mind. It's fun. It's interesting. Turn off our anti-icing equipment. All right. So we'll look outside here real quick. Oh, we got that nice. That's nice. See that? Right on the T. That's what I want to see. Perfectionism, I suppose, but that's it. Look around. Grand Forks, North Dakota. Cars in the parking lot. Lots of single-engine GA aircraft. And now, a Cessna Citation Longitude that a couple weeks ago was in Singapore, and now he's in Grand Forks. I did notice one thing I wanted to check to see what effect it had on dropping to the logbook screen. And that was the heck was it? Press one. Sorry, just checking something. What was it? Made a note of it. Not electrical. The heck was it? I'm having a senior moment. Secondary trim on round on. Well. Oh. No, not flow. No. Sorry. You don't deserve this. Well, I'll have to find it for next time. These are all related to cabin pressure. I already took care of the air pressurization. Might be blocked. Oh, closed fuel shutoff valve. That's it. Ah, same effect. Same effect. Anyway, 2 hours, 2 minutes, 2 seconds. 2 hours, 2 minutes, 2 seconds. 020202. Wheels up to wheels down from KSAF Santa Fe to KGFK Grand Forks. Qualified as a day takeoff and a day landing. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see where we head next. But in the meantime, time to go find a place to spend the night here in Grand Forks. Lots of luck, huh? Take care.